I was saying the shepherd's purse, Capsella bursa pastoris, is a commonly called as. What is the common name for the Capsella bursa pastoris? Morning glory, it is a common name for Icomia purpurea. Night queen, it is a common name for Cestrum nocturnum. And day king, it is a common name for Cestrum diurnum. So you should know all these names. Sometimes they may ask about morning glory also. Botanical name of morning glory, or botanical name of night queen, botanical name of day king. So you must remember all these names. And now the question is related to shepherd's purse. So Capsella bursa pastoris, common name is shepherd's purse. As I told you earlier, it appears like a, earlier shepherds used to have this kind of the bag made up of leather. So it appears like the shepherd's purse. So it is named as shepherd's Capsella bursa pastoris. So that is the answer for this. Common name of Capsella bursa pastoris is shepherd's purse. Next, the classical piston mechanism is seen in the family. So in the taxonomy in different families, there are different kinds of pollination mechanisms. Pollination mechanism. That means how the pollination occurs. There are different kinds of mechanisms. With the help of the insects, insect pollination, entomophily, anemophily, with the help of the air, wind, it is called as anemophily, like that. But there are some mechanisms which help the pollination to occur. For example, piston mechanism occurs in Fabaceae. So you can see here, I have written three kinds of the important mechanisms usually which are asked in the competitive. Piston mechanism is observed in Fabaceae. And clipper translator mechanism, sometimes it is also called as translator mechanism. In the Asclepiadaceae family, we observe this kind of the mechanism. Clipper translator mechanism, just translator mechanism. And one more important mechanism, that is lever mechanism. Here anther acts like a lever. It moves like this as a lever. And it is useful in pollination. It is observed in the salvia. Okay, salvia is the plant belongs to Lamiaceae. Lamiaceae family, salvia. So in salvia, we observe the lever mechanism. So these three are very important topics. Piston mechanism in Fabaceae, clipper translator mechanism in Asclepiadaceae, and lever mechanism in salvia. So these are the most important mechanisms you should remember. And next, you see, yeah, here the question is the classical piston mechanism. It is related to Fabaceae. And next, the largest family in plant kingdom. So this also you should remember, in entire plant kingdom, whether it is dicot or monocot, the largest family is Asteraceae. Asteraceae, the old name is Compositae. Sometimes they may give the name Compositae. Okay, both the names are in use. Okay, as per the taxonomic rules, we can call it Asteraceae or Compositae. It is the largest family. Okay, and next to the Asteraceae, sometimes they may ask a tricky question like the largest family in the monocots. In the monocots only, because Asteraceae belongs to dicots, and the largest family in the monocots. What is the largest family? Can anybody say? It is Orchidaceae. Okay, Orchidaceae is the largest family in the monocots. And in the entire plant kingdom, Asteraceae. In the dicots also, Asteraceae. But in the monocots, specifically if they ask in the monocots, Orchidaceae. So it is next to Asteraceae. And next to Orchidaceae, there is third largest family. Okay, that is Fabaceae. Okay, so you should remember these two, Asteraceae and next Orchidaceae. So next, one more thing, gynophore is present in. So what is gynophore? And sometimes they may ask about the androphore also. So for that, I will show you one picture. So here in Capparaceae family, or sometimes it is also called as Capparidaceae family. This plant, here you see Gynandra pentaphylla, or it is also named as Cleome gynandra. Now, the recent name is Cleome gynandra. Sometimes it is also called as Gynandropsis pentaphylla or Cleome gynandra. So here you might have seen these flowers. Here you see there is a elongated stalk-like structure here. And this is called as androphore because it is the stalk-like structure in the flower. So you see here andrecium, the stamens, and gynoecium here, ovary. Okay. So there is a extension of a stalk-like structure. Usually in the flower, we observe the orals, the rings. Okay. Petals, sepals. The lowermost is sepals, next petals, next andrecium, next gynoecium. So there is an elongation of the stalk-like structure that is called as androphore. That is between the corolla and the andrecium. That is called androphore. And there is elongated stalk-like structure between the andrecium and gynoecium. That is called as gynophore. So both the androphore and gynophore are present in case of the this Capparis. Okay, in several plants of the this Capparidaceae, we find this androphore and gynophore. So that is the answer for this question. So here, what is the answer? In the answers, they gave the Capparis decidua. Sometimes they may give the Cleome gynandra or Gynandropsis pentaphylla. So you have to be careful. The plant which belongs to Capparidaceae or Capparaceae family. This is the one. Okay, next. So Labiatae, I told you earlier, there are some families. Earlier, they are called with a different names like Labiatae. Because the petals appear like labellum, like a tongue-shaped petals are present in Labiatae family. So it is named as Labiatae. But later, after IUCN nomenclature, after this ICB nomenclature, their names are changed. AC was added as the suffix. For each family, they are added as AC. For example, Labiatae is renamed as Lamiaceae. But both the names are in use. Okay, both the names are authentic, can be used. Labiatae is also called as Lamiaceae. And I will show you some other families like Umbelliferae. That is one more family. There we find the umbel inflorescence in those families. In the plants, the inflorescence belongs to the umbel type. Umbel. So umbel type of inflorescence is present. So it is named as Umbelliferae. Now, as per the ICBN nomenclature, it is renamed as Apiaceae. For example, you see Coriandrum sativa. You see it is one of the members of Apiaceae, umbel inflorescence. And Compositae, once upon a time, the earlier name, old name is Compositae. The new name is Asteraceae. And Graminae, now it is also called as Poaceae. So we should remember these names. Graminae, new name is Poaceae. Okay. Next. So the next question is, the secondary metabolites vincristin and vinblastin are found in which plant? In which plant we observe these two, vincristin and vinblastin? These are the secondary metabolites, and these are these two have a lot of medicinal value. These are used as anti-cancer chemicals. In the market, there is a lot of demand for these chemicals, vincristin and vinblastin. These two are the anti-cancer compounds. They have a lot of value. So, where these two secondary metabolites are found? Rauwolfia serpentina, Catharanthus roseus, Tinospora, Cordifolia, Tectona grandis. So, out of them, Tectona grandis we can remove it. It's not a medicinal plant. And Tinospora, Cordifolia. Rauwolfia serpentina. In Rauwolfia serpentina also, it is also one of the important medicinal plants. Okay, it is called as Sarpagandha. Common name, Sarpagandha. Sometimes they also ask like that, what is Sarpagandha, what is Aswagandha? Titania somnifera is the Aswagandha, and Rauwolfia serpentina is the Sarpagandha. Here, the important secondary metabolites are rauwolfin and reserpin. In the Rauwolfia serpentina, the most important compounds are rauwolfin, the name itself indicates, and reserpin. These are mostly used in the blood pressure control, BP. Okay, and now we come to Catharanthus roseus. So here, this plant is very important, and the common name is also called as Vinca rosea, Billaganneru. It is in Telugu. It is called as Billaganneru, Vinca rosea. So in Catharanthus roseus, these two, vincristin and vinblastin, are found. These are very important cancer compounds, anti-cancer. Okay, right. Next, Ceteria italica is it is a plant belongs to Poaceae family. All these are grass plants. So it is one of the millets, important millets. Nowadays, millets have a lot of importance. Okay, and what is this? Ceteria italica is a cereal, millet, pulses, fruit. So it is a millet. Now, once again, I will share you some important points about the different millets. You should know the names of all these millets, because now they asked about one millet, but later they may ask about other millets also. So usually you see sorghum. It is also called as great millet, sorghum bicolor. It is called as అంటే జొన్నలు అంటారు తెలుగు. సోర్గం అనేది ఒక మిల్లెట్, గ్రేట్ మిల్లెట్. అట్లానే మీకు పర్ల్ మిల్లెట్ కూడా తెలిసే ఉంటుంది. పర్ల్ మిల్లెట్ అని దేన్ని అంటారు? వాట్ ఇస్ అంటే ఇట్ ఇస్ ఎ కామన్ నేమ్. ఇట్ ఇస్ ఎ కామన్ నేమ్ ఫర్ పెన్నిసెటమ్ గ్లాకం ఆర్ పెన్నిసెటమ్ టైఫాయిడమ్. వీటిని సజ్జలు అంటారు. ఓకే, పెన్నిసెటమ్ టైఫాయిడమ్ ఆర్ పెన్నిసెటమ్ గ్లాకం. ఇట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ పర్ల్ మిల్లెట్. సజ్జలు పెనిసెటమ్ టైఫాయిడమ్ ఆర్ పెనిసెటమ్ గ్లాకం. అదేవిధంగా ఫింగర్ మిల్లెట్, ఇట్ ఇస్ అ కామన్ నేమ్ ఫర్ ఎలిసిన్ కొరకానా, అంటే మీకు తెలిసే ఉంటుంది, రాగులు. ఓకే, సో నౌ ద క్వశ్చన్ ఈజ్ ఫాక్స్టైల్ మిల్లెట్. వాట్ ఈస్ ఇట్ ఇస్ అ కామన్ నేమ్ ఫర్ సెటేరియా ఇటాలికా. వీటిని కొర్రలు అంటారు. బార్నియార్డ్ మిల్లెట్, little millet, proso millet, kodo millet. So all these, just for your convenience, I am sharing this. You can note down if possible. Pearl millet, సజ్జలు, pearl millet అంటే. అదేవిధంగా చెప్పాను గ్రేట్ మిల్లెట్ అంటే సోర్గం వల్గేర్, సోర్గం బైకలర్ ఏదైనా. ఫింగర్ మిల్లెట్ అని వేటిని అంటారు? రాగులు. దీన్ని తైదులు అని కూడా అంటారు. అండ్ ఫాక్స్టైల్ మిల్లెట్ కొర్రలు మనం ఇంతకు ముందు చెప్పుకున్నాం కదా, సెటేరియా ఇటాలికా. అట్లానే కోడో మిల్లెట్ అరికెలు, లిటిల్ మిల్లెట్ సామలు, సోర్గం మనం చెప్పుకున్నాం. బార్న్ యార్డ్ మిల్లెట్ ఊదలు, ప్రోసో మిల్లెట్ వరిగలు, అండ్ బ్రౌన్ టాప్ మిల్లెట్ అండుకొర్ర. యాక్చువల్లీ ఇది చాలా కాస్ట్. కాబట్టి ఇవన్నీ కూడా మీరు యూ షుడ్ నో ద కామన్ నేమ్స్ అండ్ బొటానికల్ నేమ్స్. ఓకే, లిటిల్ మిల్లెట్ అంటే పానికం సుమత్రన్స్, బార్న్యార్డ్ మిల్లెట్ అంటే ఐకనోక్లోవా రస్గల్లి, ఫాక్స్టైల్ మిల్లెట్ ఇప్పుడు అడిగిన క్వశ్చన్ సెటేరియట్. నెక్స్ట్ టైం ఏదైనా అడగచ్చు. పానికం మిల్లెట్, ద కామన్ నేమ్ ఆఫ్ పానికల్ మిలియేసియం, పానికం, ప్రోసో మిల్లెట్. Okay, so you should remember all this. Just go through the common names and botanical names and Telugu names if possible. Okay, next, the Indian rosewood tree. ఇక్కడ ఇంకోటి, ఇది ఒక కామన్ నేమ్. మీకు తెలుసు వుడ్ లో వుడ్ స్ట్రక్చర్లు ఇవన్నీ కూడా వస్తాయి రకరకాలుగా. టెక్టోనా గ్రాండిస్, దీన్ని టేక్ వుడ్ అండి. టెక్టోనా గ్రాండిస్ టేక్. టిరోకార్పస్ శాంట్లైనస్, దీన్ని ఏమంటారు? రెడ్ శాండర్స్. టిరోకార్పస్ శాంట్లైనస్, రెడ్ శాండర్స్, ఎర్ర చందనం అని కూడా. అట్లానే డాల్బర్జియాసిస్, ఇట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ ఇండియన్ రోజ్వుడ్. ఇంకో పేరు ఉంది మీకు తెలుసా? డోంట్ కన్ఫ్యూజ్ విత్ రోజ్వుడ్. రోజ్వుడ్ ఈస్ డిఫరెంట్ ఫ్రమ్ ఇండియన్ రోజ్వుడ్. వాట్ ఈస్ రోజ్వుడ్? డాల్బర్జియా లాటిఫోలియా. డాల్బర్జియా లాటిఫోలియా ఇస్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ రోజ్వుడ్. అండ్ ఇండియన్ రోజ్వుడ్ అనేది డాల్బర్జియా సిసు. మనకు తెలుసు, మన బాట్ల ఎమ్మటి రోడ్ల ఎమ్మటి ఇట్స్ అవెన్యూ ట్రీ. అవెన్యూ ట్రీ మనకి ఎప్పుడు వాటెమ్మటి వేస్తూ ఉంటారు. కాబట్టి వీటిలో కూడా మీరు కొన్ని ఈ వుడ్ నేమ్స్ కూడా, వాట్ ఆర్ ద కామన్ నేమ్స్? రోజ్ వుడ్ అంటే డాల్బర్జియా లాటిఫోలియా, ఇండియన్ రోజ్ వుడ్ అంటే డాల్బర్జియా సిస్సు. నల్ల మద్ది ఇంకోటి, నల్ల మద్ది. వాట్ ఈస్ నల్ల మద్ది? టర్మినేలియా టొమెంటోజా. ఇది యూజువల్లీ మీకు ఈ వుడ్ స్ట్రక్చర్లు ఇవన్నీ ఉంటాయి, కామన్ నేమ్స్ అండ్ బొటానికల్ అండ్ ఫ్యామిలీ నేమ్స్ ఆల్సో. ఇప్పుడు రోజ్వుడ్, వాట్ ఈస్ ద ఫ్యామిలీ ఆఫ్ రోజ్వుడ్? టు విచ్ ఫ్యామిలీ ఇట్ బిలాంగ్స్? Fabaceae. Indian rosewood, Dalbergiasis, it also belongs to Fabaceae. Okay. Nalla Maddi, Terminalia tomentosa. To which family it belongs? Combritaceae. Combritaceae. Okay. And red sanders, Pterocarpus santalinus. మనం ఇంతకుముందు చెప్తాం టీరోకార్పస్ శాంటిలినస్, రెడ్ శాండర్స్. అట్లానే ఏగిస అంటారు, ఇంకోటి ఉంది ఇంపార్టెంట్, అది కూడా టీరోకార్పస్ మార్సూపియం. So here Pterocarpus santalinus and Pterocarpus marsupium, these also belong to Fabaceae. Okay, so you should remember the common name of the wood plants and their botanical names and their family name. They may ask any. Okay, they are very important. Next, now lithophytes grow on. What are the lithophytes? The plants which grow on the rocks or stones are called as lithophytes. Soil మీద పెరిగే మామూలుగా all the plants or trees, they grow on the soil, so they are not very special. Okay, fresh water లో పెరిగే వాటిని ఏమంటారు? మనం ముందు చెప్పుకున్నాం hydrophytes. The plants which grow in water, fresh water, hydrophytes. Okay, and the plants which grow on rocks are called as lithophytes. Usually we see lichens. మనకి తెలిసే ఉంటుంది లైకెన్స్. జీరోజియర్ లో మనం చూస్తాం, అవి మొత్తం ఫస్ట్ రాక్స్ మీద దాని యొక్క లైఫ్ స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది. సో వాటిని లిథోఫైట్స్. ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ సెలైన్ వాటర్. కొన్ని సమ్ ఆఫ్ ద ప్లాంట్స్ గ్రో ఇన్ సెలైన్ వాటర్ ఆల్సో. దే ఆర్ కాల్డ్ ఎస్ హాలోఫైట్స్. సెలైన్ వాటర్ లో గ్రో అయితే వాటిని ఏమంటారు? Halophytes. And if they grow in the sand, they are called as psammophytes. Kabatti you should remember all these: psammophytes, hydrophytes, xerophytes, which grow in the deserts or desert, avi acclimatized to desert conditions, called as xerophytes, and lithophytes which grow on the stones. Okay, so and next, spine or scale-like structures are found. So these are the adaptations of the xerophytes. There you see the leaves are modified into spines or scale leaves in case of the xerophyte. So that is the answer. And in mesophytes, there are not much adaptations. Epiphytes, you know what are the epiphytes? They grow on the large trees, but particularly in the dense forests, they lack the sunlight. So for the purpose of the sunlight, they grow on the above the trees. They are called as epiphytes. For example, orchids, epiphytes. And there is one more question we will discuss later. And next, in all ecological pyramids, plants are. So in the pyramids, ecological pyramids, so we see there are some producers, consumers, and in the consumers, there are primary consumers, secondary consumers, and tertiary consumers. So just for the confusion, they ask like primary product. Actually, there are producers are not classified into primary, secondary, but consumers are classified into primary, secondary, tertiary, and macro consumers and micro consumers. So all these are classifications are there. Now the best answer among them is primary producers. And now you see arenchyma is prevalent in the adaptations only. Here we see after the xerophytes, now we see the hydrophytes. So arenchyma is the tissue which store the air and useful for the floating of the hydrophytes. So it is present in hydrophytes. Okay. Next, wheat belongs to the family. Wheat, మనకు తెలుసు గోధుమ దేనికి చెందింది Poaceae. You know, most of the grass plants, they belong to Poaceae. So wheat also, it's one of the grass plant, belongs to Poaceae. మనకి వరి, గోధుమ, జొన్న, సజ్జ అన్ని most of the cereals and millets, they belong to the family Poaceae. Next, we come to the part B, cell biology. Now, cell biology, this is the anatomy. Yeah, regarding the tunica corpus theory was proposed by. So there are different theories. Okay, so related to here, tunica corpus theory. Who proposed tunica corpus theory? There are different apical cell theory. So these are all related to meristem, root apex and shoot apex, to explain the root apex and shoot apex. Here, you see apical cell theory. Who proposed apical cell theory? Who proposed histogen theory? Who proposed tunica corpus theory? Who proposed Carper Kappe theory? So all these you should remember. Tunica corpus theory was proposed by Schmidt. And who proposed apical cell theory? Hans. Who proposed it? Nageli. Okay. So Nageli proposed, and Hofmeister also. Both the names you should remember. Hofmeister proposed and supported by Nageli, like that. And histogen theory, Hornstein, and tunica corpus theory, Schmidt. Okay. So just once we go through the names here, yeah, just for your convenience, I gave the brief. This one, apical cell theory was proposed by Nageli and supported by Hofmeister. And histogen theory proposed by Hornstein. Tunica corpus theory proposed by Schmidt. And Carper Kappe theory proposed by Schupp. Carper Kappe theory. And French school theory, it was proposed by, initially pioneered by Louis Plantefort, and it was expanded later by Bouvet. Okay. And next, we come to quiescent center. So you see, there are two important things. One is French school. As per the French school, annu initial was it is present in case of the shoot apex, but in case of the quiescent center, where it is present in the root apex, quiescent center. Just I have written here, the quiescent center theory was proposed by British botanist Cloves. Who proposed it? Cloves. So what is quiescent center? What is quiescent center? It is a dormant area which is present just near the root cap. Okay, just above the root cap it is present. So it is dormant, but whenever the active meristematic tissue, when it is damaged, if it is infected, then it becomes active. The tissue which present in the quiescent center becomes active, and there is a theory saying that it is responsible for the production of the auxins from the roots, quiescent center. Okay, so it usually it is dormant, but it becomes active whenever that meristematic tissue at the tip is damaged. Okay, so you should remember this quiescent center is present in root apex, and anu initial it is present in the shoot apex, as per the French theory, French school. And next, cork cambium in the secondary growth. In the secondary growth, we see this one, cork cambium. What is cork cambium? So it is a secondary meristem. Cork cambium is a secondary meristem. You know different kinds of the meristem depending on the origin. Okay, depending on the origin, primary meristem, primordial meristem, secondary meristem. So cork cambium is also called as phellogen. Cork cambium is also called as phellogen. In the dicot stem, we see the secondary growth. In the secondary growth, in the this cork cambium is peripherally produced, and this cork cambium produces the tissue that is called as cork. Cork is a dead tissue. Okay, cork is a dead tissue which is produced outside. It is part of the bark. Okay, so this also called as cork cambium is also called phellogen. The dead tissue which is produced from the phellogen is called as phellum. Both are same. Phellogen and cork cambium are same. Both are secondary meristematic tissues. They produce phellum, are also called as cork. So you should remember this. So we have 2 more minutes. And what is dendrochronology? You know, in the secondary growth, we read this one. Formation of the annual rings. Each year, one ring is added in the dicot stem, secondary growth. So based on the number of annual rings, we can count the number of the age of the tree. So this is called as study of the number of the, based on the number of the annual rings, we can predict the age of the tree. That is called as dendrochronology. So dendrochronology is the calculation of the age of plants. Okay, and bioblast, it is a mistake. It is not bioblast, it is a bioplast. Bioplast was the initial name of mitochondria. You know, mitochondria, who named it as bioplast? Initially Altman. Later it was renamed as mitochondria by Benda. So you should know the scientist names who discovered mitochondria. This one, who named it as bioplast? Altman. Who renamed as mitochondria? Benda. Okay, and the type of steel present in monocot stem is, in the monocots we already discussed about the vascular bundles and discussed about the steel. The type of the steel which is present in the monocots is attractosteel steel, and the type of steel which is present in the dicots is U steel, and protosteel is present in the pteridophytes. For example, in the lycopodium, yesterday we discussed protosteel. Okay, so actinosteel, also one kind of a protosteel. It is a modification of actinosteel. It is also present in lycopodium. So you should